Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Real Estate with Mary. Today, I will be sharing with you information about landlord-tenant laws here in California. I'll be answering the following questions. Do you need a lease agreement when renting? What is a security deposit? How much should I be charged for security deposit? Do I get the money back? What is renter's insurance? Do I need it? What are the California termination of tenancy and eviction rules here in California? And landlord access to rental property and tenant protection against retaliation. So I'll be answering all those questions for you right now. All right, let's start with that first question. Do you need a lease agreement? Well, every time that you're going to rent a property for more than a year, it's mandatory that you need a lease agreement. You need to have it in writing. If it's less than a year, you don't need a lease agreement. It's not mandatory, but I really recommend that you always get it in writing. When you have something in writing, it's easier to be enforced. So you need a lease agreement always when you're gonna rent for a year or more. But I recommend you always get a lease agreement no matter how long the term. Okay. 2. What is a security deposit? How much should I be charged for security deposit? And should I be getting that back? Well, a security deposit is a deposit that the landlord will get, when you are renting a property, an apartment, a house, whatever it is. So here in California, there are rules on how much of security deposit a landlord can take from you. So if it's a property that is unfurnished, a maximum of 2 months security deposit can be taken as, security deposit from the tenant. If the property is furnished, a maximum of 3 months security deposit can be charged. So make sure you know your laws here and how much security deposit you can be charged. Now, let's talk about my getting that money back. How can I use the security deposit? So, security deposit is not meant to be used as a last month rent. No, security deposit is returned back to you after you turn in the house back to the landlord. Okay, everything should be okay. If there's any repairs to be made on that property, the landlord has the right to use the security deposit money to fix anything that you broke or you left, that wasn't the same way as when the property was given to you. So, what if you left the property better than when you first got it? Well, the landlord is supposed to return that money back to you within 21 days of you turning in the property. So, if the landlord took any money from your security deposit to make any repairs at the property, they're supposed to give you an itemized list of how that money was used. So make sure you know your laws here in California and make sure you get that money back. All right, question number 3. What is renter's insurance? Do I really need renter's insurance? Well, renter's insurance is a smart option to have. Okay, when you are renting a property, it can be an apartment, a house, I really highly recommend you get renter's insurance. Renter's insurance will protect you against any financial losses due to theft, any natural disasters, fire, water damage, let's say a flooding. So it's basically protecting all your personal assets, your personal property. So for example, let's say you are renting a home or an apartment complex and the property burns down. You lost all your personal property in there. Well, the landlord's insurance does not protect you with those losses of your personal property. That's why you need renter's insurance, to be able to insure all your personal property and more. So I would look into renter's insurance if you do not have one. All right, question number 4, California termination of tenancy and eviction rules. So how do I terminate my lease, right? Well, if you have a lease for a year, at the end of this lease agreement, you can terminate your tenancy, right? Well, let's say that you are in a property, you've been there for more than a year, you're already into a month-to-month contract. you need to provide a 60-day notice to your landlord, or your landlord, if they want to get their property back, has the right to give you a 60-day notice to request the property back. Now, let's talk about, if you need a 60-day notice or a 30-day notice. So if you've been in the property for more than a year, and you're on a month-to-month rent already, the landlord is required to give you at least 60 days, so a 60-day notice to request the property back. If you've been in a property for less than a year on a month-to-month agreement, the landlord only needs to give you a 30-day notice. So it's important for you to know your rights as a tenant and also as landlords. All right, I want to talk to you a little bit about evictions. However, I do have another video completely just about evictions. So check out my YouTube channel, Real Estate with Mary, and watch that video on evictions. It'll be very, very interesting. But let's talk about the simple eviction. Let's say that the landlord wants his or her property back, and they give you either a 30-day notice or a 60-day notice. At the end of that term of 30 days or 60 days, if you do not give the property back to that landlord, the landlord has the right to evict you, to start an unlawful detainer and evict you from the property. So now let's say that you did not pay the rent this month, or it's been already 4 days, 2 days, and you haven't paid the rent. The landlord can also give you a 3-day notice of to pay rent or quit. And if you do not pay it within that time, then the landlord has the right to set up an unlawful detainer or eviction process. Okay, so make sure you pay your rent on time and make sure that you turn in the house on time. I hope you found this video informative, but please share with us. I know you probably have a lot of questions or a lot of stories. Share with us, the experiences that you've had, either if you're a landlord or a tenant with landlords, crazy landlords that I've heard so many stories about, or you've been through a fire and lost everything because you didn't have renter's insurance. Hopefully that wasn't you. But please share your experiences with us. We would love to hear from you. Well, thank you for watching. Please share, like, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Real Estate with Mary. I'll see you on my next video.